अगर हमें आजमाने की कोशिश की फिर तो जवाब भी उतना ही प्रचंड मिलेगा।
दिसंबर 2022 को पीएलए ट्रुप्स ने तवांग सेक्टर के यांगसे एरिया में लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल पर अतिक्रमण कर स्टेटस को एक तरफा बदलने का प्रयास किया। चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया है अध्यक्ष महोदय, और इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई है। भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
आज मैं ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, डिसिसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी।
China, known for its dictatorial governance, has been marred by months of violent protests. From COVID crackdown to assaulting factory workers to freezing Chinese citizens' money, China has only witnessed revolt across the nation this year. So much so that Beijing was forced to drop its weapons before its citizens and lift restrictions. But such defeat comes with desperation and angst. So what happened next? Two and a half years after Galwan clashes in Ladakh soured India-China ties, China tried another misadventure. On the 9th of December 2022, troops of India and China came face to face at the LAC in Tawang sector of Arunachal Pradesh. .350 PLA soldiers started pelting stones at Indian Army troops in a place close to the Arunachal-Sikkim-China tri-junction. Indian troops retaliated, injuring several Chinese soldiers. In the process, some Indian soldiers have also sustained minor injuries. They are currently undergoing treatment in Guwahati. Caught off guard by the outbreak of protests across the country over stringent COVID-19 restrictions, including brutal lockdowns, Chinese authorities have removed restrictions placed on its population. The protests and the paranoid lockdowns, partial or complete, that have been in force in various provinces across the country for close to 3 years now, seem to have exhausted the patience of the Chinese masses, which have risen in revolt for the first time since 1989. That is a stark admission of failure from the normally smug and hubris-fueled Chinese authorities. Across the country, protesters are conducting vigils, holding up black sheets of paper as symbols of protest. Workers have been escaping from factories placed under a closed-loop approach that has turned workplaces into virtual prisons. The Chinese way of dealing with COVID-19 has contrasted sharply with the rest of the world, particularly in open societies like India. That brings us to India.
After due deliberation, we have therefore taken up Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, as our G20 Presidency theme.
The G20 summit in Bali marked the end of the Indonesian presidency and heralded the group's Indian leadership for the new term beginning in December 2022. India also assumed the presidencies of the United Nations Security Council and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi struck a note of confidence about India playing an effective role in dealing with multiple challenges, including geopolitical tensions and a global economic slowdown. G20 is a grouping of the major developed and developing economies. It includes China too. On more than one occasion in recent months, India has been hailed for holding its head high amid looming global crises. Be it when Indian Ambassador Ruchira Kamboj asserted at the UN that India need not be lectured on democracy.
We don't need to be told what to do on democracy. India is perhaps the most ancient civilization in the world, as all of you know. In India, democracy had roots going back to 2,500 years. 2,500 years. We were always a democracy.
Or be it when Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar shut down Western hypocrisy over India's choices.
What issue is it that the West wants India to step up to the plate, so to speak?
No, but why should I step up to what the West wants? I will step up to what I want. No? You think by voting for something I will end the war? Had I done all the things that you were saying, I would have been of no use to anybody, including myself in Bali.
India has been reiterating its essential foreign policy goals, including equitable power distribution, need for better global South representation in multilateral bodies, and enhanced responsibility bearing for middle powers to reduce reliance on major powers like the United States and China, which have caused immense harm through their increasing strategic competition. Now the question arises, as the G20 presidency promises to help advance India's multipolar worldview and create a credible partnership between nations, will China's ugly, desperate attempts to destroy peace and harmony in the region help its purpose?